Chapter 6 The Big House. I have been listening to the songs that Frank wrote, and I noticed that the lyrics really have meaning. You couldn't tell when he wrote those lyrics because of the words that he used. A couple of weeks had passed, and Frank called me and said that the demo for You Make Me Happy had arrived, and he was going to bring it over tonight. I couldn't wait to hear this song about our relationship. When Frank arrived, he couldn't wait to play the song for me. Marie, get ready to be amazed. I listened with interest, and I was amazed of how good the lyrics and music sounded. The lyrics were about our relationship, and Frank used words that were simple. Here's a sample of the lyrics. I hoped that you knew that the love I have is only for you. Even from the very start, I had the feeling that it was going to be hard for us to part. The reason I mention these lines here is that it did come true what Frank wrote over 40 years ago. The complete lyric sheet for You Make Me Happy will appear at the end of this chapter. Now back to the current story. Frank asked me, how did you like the song, darling? I said, every song that you write seems to have meaning. Then Frank replied by saying, Marie, being with you brings out the best in me. I said, Frank, I am flattered. When you send your lyrics to the music company, do they turn them down if they are not song material? Frank said, yes, but they will change a few words to make the lyrics more commercial, and making sure that there isn't anything that could offend the public. Remember, Marie, I only write lyrics about good things. Frank, you do make me happy. I really enjoyed this song a lot. Since this was a weekday, Frank told me he would call me tomorrow from work, and then we kissed and Frank went home. The very next day, Frank called me and said that his mother sold the apartment houses with the money she bought a private home, only 3 blocks away. He also told me that he found a townhouse only 3 blocks from my apartment, and he wanted me to see it. And if I liked it, then we could get it before someone else did. Frank picked me up that evening. He had the keys. When I saw the outside, Frank told me that this townhouse was built around 1870. Frank opened the door. I couldn't believe what I saw. I was awed by a big living room with hardwood floors, exposed brick walls, and in the center was a fireplace. I asked Frank, does it work? He said, you got that right. Next, there was a dining area, and through a hall was the kitchen, and through another hall was the bathroom, which was next to a very large bedroom, which I called our zone of privacy. Frank asked me, how do you like it so far, Marie? I said, great. Then he turned around and went back through the hall and went out to the back door to a big backyard. Frank told me that he could grow a nice garden. I told Frank, no pot plants. He said, I promise, only to grow vegetables. Then we went back inside, up a large staircase to the second floor, which had another large bedroom with a full bath. Now the only thing left was to see the basement. We went down the stairway from the second floor, through the kitchen, and down another stairway to the basement, which was very large and had a washer and dryer and plenty of storage space. Frank asked me, have you decided to get this place or not? Frank, I really like this place a lot. Marie, one more thing. We have central air and heat, and the address has the same 4 digits as your apartment. Then I told Frank, the fact that the address has the same numbers is an omen, and I think that we should get this place before someone else does. Frank said, consider it done, and we can be with each other all the time, and not just on weekends. Frank was happy that I liked the place as much as he did. We left, and Frank said, Start packing your things. Now Frank was going to help his mother move and help me move and also take care of all the paperwork. Frank's mom called me and congratulated me because we got a house close to her. And she also told me that she sold the apartment houses so that Frank wouldn't have to work so hard. Finally, he could be on his own. I told his mom that I loved her even more for doing what she did. We were all pretty busy the next couple of weeks. Finally, everything got moved, and we were one big happy family again. I couldn't wait to start living in our new place. I kept thinking about the Real Diamond song that Frank wrote, because now the song has come to fruition. The end of the song says that we could start a new life as Mr. and Mrs. and as man and wife. The only problem now is that Frank will have to pay rent and the bills for the townhouse. I can help some because I work part-time as a dental technician and also as a seamstress. I wore the imitation Real Diamond everywhere I went, and everybody thought it was real. Frank had to work some weekends, so I went to New York to see my friends. While I was gone, something bad happened. Frank came home from work about 2 a.m., and he was getting ready for bed upstairs when he heard glass breaking downstairs. He went down and let this guy break in. Frank held this burglar there at gunpoint until the police arrived. Frank pressed charges. The next day, the police called Frank and told him that this guy broke in to get the big diamond ring that I was wearing. Frank told the police that I wasn't home and I was wearing the big diamond ring in New York. The police asked Frank, how much was the ring worth? Frank told them 20 G's. But he didn't tell the police that the real diamond was in a safe deposit box in the bank. Frank told me what happened when I returned from New York. He said, Marie, don't flash the fake diamond ring too much because of what just happened. The guy that broke in saw us in the restaurant around the corner and followed us. Frank got the window fixed and was worried about me being alone after the break-in. Frank contacted the landlord and paid half to have iron bars put on all the windows and doors. Frank dropped the charges against the guy who broke in because he figured that this guy would not bother us anymore, and that seemed to do the trick. No more trouble. Frank told me that if this guy didn't break in, we wouldn't have the iron bars on the windows and doors. This way, when we go out on the town, we won't have to worry about anybody breaking in. I like this townhouse more and more every day. Frank was working hard to keep paying the bills, and he told me that we should have credit in case we needed help with the bills. So Frank started getting credit and more credit, and he was using it to pay the gas for the car, eating out with me, and groceries and car repairs. I didn't realize how much credit that Frank got. He got so much credit that he was using one credit card to pay another credit card. This went on for a while. I knew that something was wrong when the United States Postal Service broke down the doors and ransacked the house looking for evidence. They didn't find a computer, but found the files for all the credit cards that Frank got. After they left, Frank told me that he used false information to get all those credit cards, and that they thought that he was a ringleader. I was really upset. Frank was appointed a public defender and was talked into taking a plea bargain instead of a jury trial, in which he could be sentenced up to 15 years, and with a plea bargain, only about a year. Frank got sentenced for 12 to 14 months for credit card fraud and mail fraud. Since Frank wouldn't be working, we decided to pawn the real diamond to pay the rent and bills until Frank is back home again. And I would keep paying on the real diamond. Frank had a very good friend at the job that helped me do shopping and things around the house until Frank returned. I talked to Frank almost every day at the prison camp. and he wrote me a lot. Finally, time passed, and Frank was back home again. He had his job waiting for him. Everybody knew that Frank was railroaded by the government. By the way, I'm thinking about writing another book entitled Railroad to Prison. That's why I didn't go into too much detail here about Frank's criminal case. Back to the current story. Frank was so sorry for what he did. He promised me no more credit cards and that he had learned his lesson. That loan on the real diamond really saved us. Now that Frank is back to work, he kept paying the loan on the real diamond, which took him about a year to pay off, and then he put it back in the safe deposit box. During this ordeal, I kept wearing the fake diamond. I decided at this point of the story to add one of the many letters that Frank wrote me from the prison camp, because he writes the letters like he went up the river to Italy instead of to prison. This letter is next. Hello, Marie, my baby. I miss you very much. It took 8 days to get here. The name of the ship was the Conta Grande. These ocean liners have everything. The waters were a little rough, but I didn't get seasick. Whenever this happens, they run velvet-covered ropes around the inside of the ship, so you can hold on when you go from one compartment to another. Cousin Eddie was waiting for me with open arms when I got off the ship in Naples. He speaks Italian fluently and knows his way around here. We are staying with his mother in a small cottage, and I'll be living with them as long as I'm here. They are treating me like a king. There is plenty to see here. We already saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Isle of Capri, the Blue Grotto, and the Mount Vesuvius volcano. And we also went to Venice and Rome. Marie, as the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. We ate pasta almost every day. I put on a few pounds. Enough sightseeing for now. The real reason I'm here is to get my grandfather's inheritance, which is in the form of a house and the property it is built on. Since my mother has passed, I am the rightful heir. One of the problems with the property is that it is run down and needs a lot of repairs. The value of the property is low because of its condition. There is also a lot of back taxes owed. I am trying to make a deal with them. The government here wants to take the property over to pay the taxes that I have accrued over time. But I could fix the place up. I could sell it and pay the taxes and maybe have some money left. This is going to take a lot of time. Eddie knows people here who will give us a lot of the materials we need to restore the property to its original condition. Once I get the property restored, then and only then, I will take this ship back home to your loving arms. This project had to be done now before I lost everything. I will call you when I can. I hope everything is going great for Marie, my baby. I'm getting to know my way around here. I think that this would be a nice place to retire to, since we have been living so long in a big city. Instead of just moving to another part of town, I'd rather make a big move and come back here. We'll discuss this when I get back home. This decision will be up to you. It's a nice place to live. It's so beautiful, and crime doesn't exist here. And everyone is so friendly. I think about you every day, and the love I have for you is getting stronger. Remember, as the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Love always, Frank. That was the end of one of the many letters that Frank wrote to me from the prison camp. Reading this letter almost made me believe that Frank really was in Italy. One more thing that I would like to mention here is that this this was the first time in our long relationship that I wasn't with Frank on Valentine's Day. I would like to include here a poem that Frank sent me from the prison camp. It reads as follows. Valentine's Day poem from the prison camp by the unknown songwriter. Even though I can't send you money, thank you for being my honey. In my heart you will always be the same, but in your heart I will always remain. When I'm back in your loving embrace, I promise you that I will not be in this place, even though you can't see me now, but when you do, the cats will meow. I went on a trip up the river for a while, but when I return, you will have a big smile. For many months you won't see my face, but you will the day that I'm out of this place. Pray to the heavens above that I return safe and sound with my love. When I get back, I will treat you like a queen, and things will be better when I'm back on the scene. I don't have many things to do with my time, so that's why I decided to write you this rhyme. Even though I can't be there, I would like to say, I will make it up to you on next Valentine's Day. I hope that you like the poem that Frank wrote me on Valentine's Day from the prison camp. I am including the lyrics of You Make Me Happy for your reading pleasure on the next page. You Make Me Happy by the unknown songwriter. As the clouds come and go, the thoughts I have for you begin to grow. I look in the sky, and I think of someone who is beautiful and shy. You make me happy the whole day through, every breath that I take, and every wish that I make. I go around with you on my mind. A more wonderful person would be very hard to find. You make me happy the whole day through. You are just like a sunny day. When I'm with you, you make the clouds go away. But when I'm not, the happiness that you've given me means a lot. You make me happy the whole day through. I hoped that you knew that the love I have is only for you. Even from the very start, I had the feeling it was going to be hard for us to part. You make me happy the whole day through. We'll never have to say so long, because at the altar they'll be playing our song. After we say I do, I know that we'll be happy the whole day through.